Hi again, guys. We're now going to be looking at Vlookup. In a previous video, we looked at the nested if, and we spoke about how complex and complicated the nested if could get. So what we're going to be doing now is looking at a tool which I recommend be used instead of a nested if. Much easier to use and does not have the kind of complications that you would find with a nested if. So we're looking at Vlookup. And what I'm going to be using Vlookup to do is to calculate a grade, a letter grade for each percent of quota. So we have our percent of quota here, and I'm going to be using the Vlookup to find the letter grade. Now Vlookup means that I have created somewhere to the right or below my spreadsheet a table that's going to contain the possible percentages and the letter grades associated with each percentage. There are two ways of using the Vlookup. I can use the Vlookup to find the closest value, or I can use the Vlookup to find the exact value. And of course the value that it's trying to find must be in a column. It must be vertical. That's where V comes from. The method that we're going to be using now is to find the nearest value. In another video I'll show you the exact value. Now when you're creating the lookup table, that is a table where I'm going to find the percentage and therefore the letter grade, I must have this data in the, ascending order. Do forgive me. Must be in ascending order. So basically, what's the lowest grade that's going to give me an F? It's 0. 0% gives me an F. What's the lowest percentage that gives me a D? The lowest percentage that gives me a D is 60%. Lowest percentage that gives me a C, 70%. Lowest percentage that gives me a B, 80%. And the lowest percentage that gives me an A is 93%. And then in the column to the right, I'm going to put in the letters that I actually wanted to print for me. So I'm going to be using this table to fill in the grades for me. Now, because I'm going to be using this table in a formula, and maybe elsewhere, I'm going to name the range. So the cells that represent my lookup table, I'm going to name them by typing the name that I want in the name box here to the left. So I'm going to call it grade lookup. Naming ranges, something that is very important for you to be able to do in order to reuse a range, a set of values, rather than always having to know the range, meaning the first cell and the last cell. Okay, so now we're going to go to insert function on the formula bar. And because I've used Vlookup before, here it is. I'm going to click on Vlookup and OK. Vlookup has 4 arguments. Notice here I'm looking at it in my function window. There are 4 arguments, but I need to use only 3 of them. Why? Because they are bold. So my lookup value represents what I want to look up in my lookup table, which in this case is 93%. The table array is my lookup table over here, which I named grade underscore lookup. So I type in the name, and right away you know that it has found the values because it's showing me. Call index num says, my lookup table has 2 columns. Do I want it to return the value in the first column or return the value in the second column? I want it to return the value that is in column 2, so I type column 2. Range lookup allows me to indicate whether I wanted to find the closest value or the exact value. If I wanted to find the exact value, then I would type false, meaning that it must exactly match what is in the lookup table. If it can find the closest value, then I can leave it empty or put true. I find, in my experience, that it is better to leave it empty than to put in true. We will investigate more to find out why that is so, but for right now, leave it empty. I want to find the closest value, not the exact value. And OK. And so for the first cell, for the 93%, it has given me grade letter A. Here it is. Let's double click and copy it. And there you go. Much faster to use than a nested if. And if it is that I wanted to change this grade, that in order to get an A I had to get 95, then I just change it in the lookup table. Let's put 95% here. And instantly, in our table, the grade has changed. Let's put back 93. Have a look. So you're looking over here, where it has 93% B. Look at what happens when I change this back to 93. There it changed back to grade letter A. So, Vlookup, much faster to use. And as we proceed together, I will show you the complexities and the different things that we can use, the different ways of using Vlookup to get the most out of your spreadsheet. Bye for now.